I've been listening to Eddie Hearns and Bernard Bonte. I think I got that name right. That's the manager of K2 Promotions for Klitschko. And it seems highly likely that there will be a rematch. There's a few things pointing at this. One of them is they're obviously looking for a venue right now. Get back to that in a bit. Also on Twitter, there was a graph posted, and it showed Joe Louis with 25 wins. It was a graph showing world title wins at heavyweight, and Joe Louis was at the top, still number one, 25 wins. Wladimir Klitschko was number two with 24 wins. Now the significance of this was that Wladimir Klitschko's Twitter retweeted this, either Wladimir Klitschko himself or someone that manages it while he's away on holiday. And this shows, it's a small indication, of course, but it is an indication that he's looking likely to take this rematch. I mean, I don't know why they would retweet it otherwise. And it shows why Klitschko would have motivation for the rematch and motivation to get that win to either tie Joe Louis, or I'm sure he's more motivated to beat Joe Louis's wins in world title fights. Also, I've been hearing Bernard Bonte talking about private discussions he's had with Wladimir Klitschko since the fight, and Wladimir Klitschko seems motivated for a rematch, he's saying. And he's also saying there's talk of a trilogy. Obviously, Wladimir Klitschko, if he wins the rematch, will have a third fight with Anthony Joshua. So, with the venues, the Cardiff Stadium holds a rugby in November, so that's not an option. They were talking about that previously, but it's not an option now. But October 28th date is an option. They're also saying that it's hard to have an outdoor event in autumn time because of the weather, of course, in Britain. But the Cardiff Stadium that holds 75,000 people, not as much as Wembley that held 90 at its maximum, but it has a retractable roof, so it is a viable option in October. And they're also talking about the fight might happen in MGM Las Vegas in the United States. That's another option. They're also looking at China and Dubai for this rematch. So they are going around looking for where they can have this rematch, which is a really strong indication this is going to happen. Obviously, Wladimir Klitschko said something to Bernard Bonte, and Bernard Bonte's been talking to Eddie Hearns. And Eddie Hearns is also saying they're quite happy to drop the IBF belt, which Kubrat Pulev is the mandatory for. They're going to look at options where Joshua can keep the IBF belt into this rematch, but if that looks impossible, they'll just drop the IBF belt. And that's not a problem to them. Also, I've said this in my previous videos, and just in case anyone doesn't realise this, Tyson Fury should be stripped of this Ring Magazine belt at the end of this month. That's what looks like is going to happen. In case you don't know, there was new rules brought in 2012, and if you don't schedule a fight and follow through with it 18 months after you win it, which will be the 28th of this month, May, then the belt will be stripped from you. And one of the other new rules is that it can go to any two people in the top five that are the top five contenders by Ring Magazine. And with Anthony Joshua being the number one contender by Ring Magazine and Wladimir Klitschko being the number three, it looks highly likely that this rematch will be for the Ring Magazine title as well. I've heard people saying that Wladimir Klitschko might go down the Deontay Wilder option, since the WBC have just ranked him in the number two contender spot. Can't really see this happening. It would mean after waiting for Wilder to fight Hearn, and of course Wilder should come through that rematch and win, maybe by knockout, by decision, whatever. Wladimir Klitschko would have to fight somebody to get the number one mandatory spot, even more time. And then Deontay Wilder, you'd have to wait maybe another year for the mandatory to come up to fight Deontay Wilder, and Deontay Wilder might decide to unify the belt by then. So it looks highly likely Vladimir's going to wait that long. I mean, it could possibly be a couple of years, and Vladimir's not getting any younger. He's 41. So I doubt that's a viable option for Wladimir. I doubt it's kind of his personality to go for that kind of option either. So this rematch between Wladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua looks highly likely to happen, and I just wanted to get this news out.